You think reacting makes you strong. It doesn't. It makes you visible. And visible things get measured. Every time you explain yourself, you shrink the room. Every time you react, you confirm you can be moved. That's not strength. That's exposure. The people who win don't argue. They don't clarify. They don't defend narratives. They disappear from the battlefield. While everyone else bleeds information. This is not advice. This is architecture. You were trained into a lie early. That silence is weakness. That restraint is submission. That if you don't respond, you lose position. That framing guarantees failure because it assumes the arena is moral. It isn't. It's territorial. Every reaction you give is a footprint. Every explanation is a supply line. Every emotional movement is a signal flare. You are not being attacked. You are being mapped. And the moment you move instinctively, your outline becomes clear. What follows is not motivation, it is structure. A way to exist in psychological terrain where exposure is death. And stillness is leverage. Stay with this. The danger isn't visible yet. The world you operate in is not governed by fairness or intention. It is governed by perception and positioning. People do not respond to who you are. They respond to where they believe you stand. That is why moral effort fails. That is why sincerity invites exploitation. Power is not a feeling. It is an arrangement. Most people misread behavior because they assume sincerity. They hear words and believe them. They see emotion and trust it. That is the mistake. Behavior is not expression. It is negotiation. There are two worlds, the internal world and the external arena. Internally, pressure exists. Anger, fear, urgency. Externally, none of that matters. The arena only registers output, timing, posture, access, response latency, silence. Those who collapse these worlds leak. Those who separate them dominate. History understood this long before psychology tried to soften it. Machiavelli wasn't teaching cruelty. He was describing mechanics. Princes didn't fall because they were harsh. They fell because they were legible. They reacted publicly. They explained motives. They corrected rumors. Each move clarified their boundaries. Until there were none left. The lesson was never to be cruel. The lesson was to be unreadable. Ambiguity is not confusion. It is armor. When motives cannot be located, pressure loses direction. When reactions don't arrive on schedule, aggression stalls. Modern systems operate the same way. Corporations don't fear outrage. They fear uncertainty. Institutions don't collapse from protest. They collapse from loss of narrative control. Individuals don't lose status because they're attacked. They lose it because they respond incorrectly. There are laws operating here whether you accept them or not. Reaction economy. Attention is currency. Reaction is liquidity. When you react instantly, you provide flow. You stabilize the other person's position by confirming they can move you. No response is not avoidance. It is denial of exchange. Markets freeze without movement. Explanation asymmetry. The one who explains positions downward. Explanation implies accountability. Accountability implies subordination. You do not explain to equals. You explain to authorities. Every clarification answers a question no one had the right to ask. Containment. Discipline. Power is not loud. It is held. Containment means internal pressure exists, without external discharge. This is not repression. It is delay, and delay distorts expectation. Distorted expectation creates miscalculation. Average people fail here because they seek relief. Reaction feels relieving. Explanation feels clarifying. Engagement feels fair. All three feel good. All three cost position. They confuse emotional comfort with strategic advantage. In corporate environments, the defensive employee becomes manageable. The explaining employee becomes slow. The silent observer who adjusts privately becomes dangerous. Meetings don't crown leaders. Post-meeting behavior does. Socially, the person who answers everything trains others to devalue them. The one who disappears without explanation is assigned importance, not because they're cruel, because their attention is unpriced. In relationships, overcommunication destroys polarity. Explaining intentions does not create safety. It creates negotiability. The one who doesn't chase clarity becomes the reference point. Not loved more, deferred to. Now here's the part most people miss. There is one final danger hidden inside silence itself. Silence without structure becomes avoidance. Ignoring without internal discipline becomes resentment. Non-reaction used as a tactic collapses under pressure. Stillness is not passive. It is active containment. If you are silent but watching, you gain data. If you are silent but emotionally reactive, you leak later. The real advantage arrives when internal state and external posture are permanently decoupled. This collapses the false binary. It is not react versus ignore. It is exposure versus sovereignty. Reacting exposes. Explaining exposes. Ignoring, with awareness, consolidates. Sovereignty is not dominance. It is self-authorization. You don't wait to be understood. You don't rush to be defended. You don't correct every misinterpretation. You choose where energy enters and where it dies. At this stage, people adjust around you. They self-censor. They probe indirectly. They test less. Not because you demanded respect, because they couldn't locate your threshold. This isn't mystique. It's absence of data. Most people never reach this. They cling to the identity of the reasonable one, the clear one, the emotionally honest one. Those identities are rewarded socially and punished strategically. What replaces them is colder. You become less visible and more central, less expressive, more consequential. No triumph, no empowerment, just fewer moves, until only effective ones remain. The open question remains. Once you realize how much of your life has been spent reacting to invitations you never accepted, how much silence you broke unnecessarily, can you return to being unlocatable? Most won't. Some will.